Hi guys, obligatory Duolingo video coming up. So this is more of just like an opinion than a review, but it's kind of a review at the same time. It's specifically for the Korean course because I want to show you some things about like the specific grammar and alphabet and stuff, which might not show up in other courses. And obviously, you probably would have searched and found this video looking for the Duolingo Korean, hopefully. So the main thing we have is the the tree. So you have the language tree that's fairly long and diverse in the way that it works. When you start off, you will only have this first section. So this first section is mainly like the alphabet and some basic words. Now, going through some of these tips, personally, I can't say it's worth like even using the tips. When I first started using Duolingo, well, when I first ever used Duolingo for Korean, because I used it for Italian before a long, long time ago. Um, None of these tips were actually here, and none of them were accessible on the mobile app either. So you basically just used it for what's it called? To I don't know, just rep words. I suppose it was just literally there to like teach you some words or like just show you some sentences. So now that it has all like all this, it's still it's never gonna be good enough. I don't think. Like it's never gonna be able to teach you using like in the way that it's trying to teach you using romanization here, because like people say words in different ways, and then like you can't always, there is no way to get the exact word, like the exact vowel. So if I say boo and then I say pudi, it's slightly different. And then this one here, go, like go is not o, so it's completely off. So what I will do is if you come onto this and you want to learn Hangul, I will send you. I will put a link in the description for what I think is the best course. It's just completely free on YouTube. It's a Korean guy and he teaches all the vowels and consonants. And I suggest just skipping through like certain parts. So because some of it's just talking, and then he also has a video that is just the thing, but he misses out some things that I think are really important that you get in the playlist. So they try and teach you the vowels in the what's in the tip section, and then in this one is the consonants in the tip section, but without learning the actual sound of these things, you can't really learn the words. So even with descriptions like this, the is like R in Spanish here. When it's it's just never gonna be because this sound here is always gonna be yeah. It's never gonna be anything other than that. So you need to learn the exact sound that is associated with the thing. Even the IPA, like most people can't read this, and it's completely useless, and it's not really worth learning. They do teach you some good things, like they teach you the what's it called, sound changes as well. And it does have a decent amount of information, but you are better off going somewhere else to get this information. So even if you're going to continue to use it, so let's see how it works. Hopefully the sound's off because Duolingo is usually really loud. So all you're doing here is matching pairs, and it's not really, this is not really like a Korean exercise. You know what I mean? You're kind of just matching it up with romanization. Here, I believe there's hopefully there's audio, but it'll say the audio and then you choose the word. These are the best ones, I think. These are my favorite exercises that you can do, because typing yourself leads to a seriously like kind of big problem where you kind of I'm gonna stop doing this. So it leads to a problem where you can make a spelling error or accidentally hit a key that's not on there, and you can be like graded bad for that. So moving on from the alphabet and stuff, it then continues to go on, and then you have to type in. So if we type in um, a boy and a girl, so boy, if I just type in like boy with girl or something, it's like completely wrong. Man and woman, yeah. So this is a thing as well. So the way that Duolingo works is that the sentence, like there is a sentence bank. So if I typed boy and girl, there is a potentially it could be wrong, and you would like specifically have to put man and woman, like, and that because that's the way it works, and because it's run by basically volunteers who have to manually edit all the possible sentences. That when you start getting on to the harder and harder and harder, like longer sentences and stuff that are all down the bottom, it then starts to become a problem. But for me, one of the main problems I have with Duolingo personally is that it's not that it doesn't teach you everything, and it is blatantly explained that it is like a supplement. So, but the main problem is this way of like, as I've just explained with the words can be wrong. Yeah, so you can get like a single word wrong. So kise, yeah, is article, possibly, or journalist, or is it both? So that's correct, yeah. So the once you start getting to more complex sentences, there is a more possibility to mess up. And then with this as well, it just it takes too long to actually get through things. So it might, I feel like the gamified way of learning through Duolingo is um it makes you feel like you're learning, and pretty much everyone will tell you this. Like, it makes you feel like you're learning, but you're not really learning that much. So 대통령의 인터뷰에 interview. Wait, there's no like sentence ending. What? Okay, so it's that in itself is like, it's just a noun. Like, it's just a noun. It's not really a sentence. There's no sentence. The interview with the president is, it's not a full sentence. Now, obviously, they do have natives working on the translations and stuff, but you can't really, you will never beat like just using like content made by natives, even if it's learners content. You will always be like grammatically correct and all stuff like that. Whereas what I feel like with Duolingo is because the sentences can be wrong and still be accepted at the same time as being um, just like snippets, or like sometimes they're really weird, like sentences that no one would ever say. And I get this, I get the argument that, oh, well, it's just helping you learn like the sentence structure and stuff. But at the same time, if no one's ever going to say it, do you even need to learn that specific sentence? You don't need to know that specific sentence. And mainly what you want to do is learn the words. So if you want to use Duolingo, and the thing is, if you like Duolingo and you want to use Duolingo, it's perfectly fine. But if you're only using Duolingo, you can't really expect, like, even if you finish all this, you're going to get to the end, you're going to finish all this, and you're going to be like, damn, like, you could put on a TV show, or you could try and read even a webtoon. It's not enough vocabulary. So even just testing out, if I click these, it says that I haven't done them, so I'm not sure that it counts. But there is a word section here, and this word section, like, there's 1,740 words already, and that's not all of it. But there's so many like simple words in Korean that you need more than that. Like, you need way more than that to like actually be able to understand like what people are saying. Like, more than like 80% of the time, you need like 5,000 words at least. Like, surely, but you'll never get fluent from this. Even if you learn every single word that was in here, you would still struggle to do like most things. You would still struggle to read webtoons and all that kind of stuff, because it's not like real like Korean constantly coming into your ears. So what I would say is, you can use Duolingo if you like to use Duolingo, but personally, I don't think it's a good use of time. So um, what else have I got here? So as I've said, the main reason I dislike it, and it's not that I think it's bad or anything. It's just it's not up to scratch, because even though they get money as well and they use adverts and stuff, they're not putting money into the courses now. The Personally, I don't. The course doesn't even need to be longer. Like, if it's longer, it doesn't change the problems, because the problems are that it slows you down from learning. It's trying to stop you from learning and trying to keep you on their website for as long as possible. That's why when you fail 3 times, you go back to the start and you have to do it again. And then it just feels like you're just repetitively, when you do the sections, it just feels like you're repetitively doing the section over and over until you can get like 5 different sentences correct. And even if the thing is, if you forget one word and you just continuously keep forgetting it, you're not going to help yourself in any way. You're just slowing yourself down, because you have to restart and then go through the stuff that you do know again, and just to get this like one specific thing right. So it just feels like it's slowing you down. Whereas if you have something like Anki, that one specific word is not going to stop you from sending all the other words, like, yeah, I know that, yeah, I know that. So all the words that you do know can just go to the future for your future self to see if you know them again. But it's like it's trying to slow you down, and like even the process in itself of going through the tree is quite slow compared to say just reading through a grammar book, reading through Talk to Me in Korean, or whatever like feels good for you. At the end of the day, the point is to get into using native content. Now, I know this video has been a bit crazy and weird, and it might not feel like I've actually had any points or anything, but I just wanted to share my opinion of Duolingo and some things that I think about it. Now, Duolingo is good for getting people into the language, and if this has got you into the language, that is fantastic. But knowing where to go, even like less than halfway through, if you're like down the, you know what? Because I think a lot of people when they're using it, they're like, you know what, this can't be the best way to learn a language. This can't be the quickest way. So for Korean, I will leave the blog post in the description, but I have like mapped out this Korean fluency path. It's not finished, it's not perfect, but it is like something that people can start with when um before they like decide what they want to do. So you can just use this as, especially the first 3 months. I feel like if you don't know what you're doing, it's easy to just get into something that somebody's told you to do, especially when it's things like Anki Deck. So I have the 500 words Anki Deck here from some Talk to Me in Korean book that I made. And so you've just used that at the start, and then learn Hangul, go through the like Talk to Me in Korean and Korean grammar in use. And I think once you've done that, by the time you get to this point, you don't even need to do Yonsei reading, but it will help. You could read anything else, like even an easy book, you could just read that instead. But like doing stuff in the language, and it just makes you want to learn the language more. Whereas just doing Duolingo, even if it's a supplement, it just feels like it's pointless. And if you're doing it for the streak, then what's the point? When you could just change that streak for a streak on Anki instead. So I'm going to link that in the description, and then you can start with that if you want, and then go to where you need to go. Like I think most people, most of my like people who are subscribed to this channel already know what they're doing anyway. I think half the people aren't even learning Korean anyway, so they won't click it. But this is for people who have found it by search anyway. So hopefully this can help you get to where you want to go rather than just using Duolingo and then getting stuck on Duolingo. So in a way, this video is made to stop people from being stuck on Duolingo and not reaching their potential, and or just like getting halfway, quitting. Like Duolingo is good if it's got you into the language. You can respect Duolingo. You'll be like, yeah, it got me into Korean. I like some people might just start learning it because they're just using Duolingo for something else. It's really good for a lot of the European languages because it you don't need to learn a script. So anyone that like needs to learn a script, it doesn't hit the right spot, I think. So hopefully that's enough. Hopefully I've made sense, and hopefully it's not too long. So thank you for watching.